You see in this pit are what's known as nuisance alligators, especially. That means they all came out of somebody's backyard, pond, canal, a swimming pool, came off a golf course, ate the neighbor's dog, something like that. That's funny to you? Some little girl's best friend gets devoured by an alligator. Somehow you found that amusing. You're absolutely sick. Hey, bad respect. I think it's funny too. Not if it's a Labrador or a Weimaraner or an Irish setter. That's a tragedy. She meant the little punt pass and kick dogs that nobody likes. Tell that kid to stop crying and get a real cat. I know there's one Chihuahua owner that wants to stone me to death right now. It's just jokes. It's just jokes. Now, if you have a nuisance alligator, a trapper is usually called out. Hopefully for you and your pets, he catches, removes the alligator. It doesn't matter if the alligator is 3 feet or 13 feet. If it takes him 5 minutes or 5 weeks, they'll charge you the same price every time, and that price is nothing. Alligator removal, absolutely free in the state of Florida. Get a raccoon in the attic, about $400. It's an 11-foot alligator in the backyard killing grandma, but don't worry, that's free. Too many grandmas in here. That's the first time that joke bombed in 20 years. This is going to be a long show, isn't it? Alligator removal is free because the alligator itself is the payment. The trapper gets to keep the alligator, which he would take to a processing plant where they will kill it, and he then gets paid for the valuable meat and hide. That's where you get alligator boots, belts, handbags, wallets, all that kind of stuff. State of Florida kills about 8,000 nuisance alligators every single year. And usually just because they swam through somebody's backyard canal a couple of times. The state of Florida is also pretty smart. They save a tremendous amount of money, but more importantly for them, they save liability by not hiring and paying a trapper. Just let them keep and harvest the animal. That way, every time a trapper's on, he gets ripped off. There's no workman's compensation to worry about, no disability. You just scratch another name off a list and get a new trapper. Now, the lucky ones, alligators that is, I will buy off those trappers, or I trap myself. I am a licensed trapper here in the state of Florida. And yes, that was my mother's dream for me. The day that I was born in Massachusetts. Probably not. One of the very few, if not the only, committed non-kill trapper in the whole state. There's not too many non-kill trappers in the state because, quite frankly, not many people are dumb enough to work 30 to 60 hours a week for free. Especially trying to save an animal that would love to rip your face off the first time that you meet them. Now, when I get a gator, they will generally come here overnight. They then get relocated to wildlife sanctuary down at Homestead. They can never truly go back to the wild. Any nuisance alligator that exceeds 4 feet in length, according to Florida state law, must be kept in captivity or be destroyed. Only 2 options. They tried to relocate these guys in the wild years ago, way back when they were endangered. Back then, if a gator ate your dog, you put them 50 miles out in the Everglades. 2 months later, your new puppy would vanish. The same gator found his way home. It's still funny to you, isn't it? Hey, at least you're consistent. They relocate him a second time to an even more remote location. 4 or 5 months later, you turn around somehow, some way, he's back at the house and won't leave. My sister had a boyfriend like that one time. No, trust me, him I got rid of. Thanks, guys. Bad laugh. Make it seem like that didn't really happen. You guys are adorable. Now, what we do in this pit is alligator wrestling, kind of, sort of. There's 3 guys, there's 1 girl that actually volunteer their time here to do these shows. We're not employees of the park. That is due to liability again. Same as a trapper. Apparently all lawyers think alligators are absolutely ferocious. Therefore, is that even comfortable? Therefore, the only money we do take in, believe it or not, does come solely through the donation basket you see down the end. On the 2 days a week that I'm here, money goes to the alligators, not directly. I tried that, they blow it all on gambling and booze. That's why half you in Florida right now. Now we gotta have this fiduciary relationship where I use it to help pay for the food, the vet bills, buying the gators off the other trappers, enclosures for sick and injured animals, equipment to catch these guys. That is what essentially funds the whole rescue. Now, the alligator wrestling itself, that is not like wrestling on television, and yes, I actually have to say that. Some people really think there's going to be like headlocks and body slams. Young boys in particular get really disappointed. Because right now, my man's hoping I grab a folding chair and start smashing alligators in the head. It's not that kind of wrestling. If you came to see the old man versus beast thing, you're in the wrong place. These guys are part of my family in here. I'm not going to kick or punch or hurt the alligator in any way. I'm not going to run around poking, jabbing at him with a stick like some everbilly. And they are not going to attack me, sorry. All alligator wrestling really is the old Seminole Indian capture techniques mimicked in a pit like this with a few stunts running. Now, for those of you that may be familiar with a television show I had on Animal Planet called Gator Boys, or any one of the crocodile documentaries I filmed over the years, you may notice a different reaction between the gators and crocs you may have seen me catch on television and the gators you see in this pit. If I get this close to a wild alligator or crocodile, it's going to do one of two things. I guarantee you neither of which is this. He's going to either A, make some huge explosive move to attack me, but that's out of self-defense. That's him thinking, I'm the threat, I'm the predator. But more than likely, for that same reason, he'll make an equally explosive move, but only to escape. Either way, there'll be some massive explosion of energy. Massive explosion. Massive explosion of energy. Okay, these guys don't do a whole lot of that stuff. They don't. Come on, massive explosion of energy. This one goes here, this one goes here. Okay, not gonna happen. They don't do that because almost every gator in this pit has been here long enough to realize that I am not gonna hurt them. And once that kind of settles in, there is no real motivation to make these huge explosive movements they're so famous for. Every time you see a wild alligator, or crocodile for that matter, making those explosive movements, that is absolutely exhausting for the animal. These guys are ectothermic or cold-blooded. So they really only have a handful of those moves when their bodies begin to build up with lactic acid, and eventually they can barely move. So these guys all know that the worst possible outcome that could ever happen is me sitting in the back over here for like 10 minutes, telling some really bad jokes. It is not worth fighting me all out for the next 15 minutes, then being totally exhausted for the next hour or two, while the lactic acid slowly remetabolizes. It's just not worth the trade-off. If there's one thing they're good at, besides ruining my life, it's conserving energy. Look at a good-sized gator like Sebastian or Godzilla, Hector, Darth Gator. These guys can easily go 4 or 5 months with no food at all. This is what they do for a living. And they're really, really good at it. That doesn't mean they love me and we're friends. We take windy walks together at night. Trust me, Godzilla doesn't love me. Not like he used to. You know, I still remember a time when you and I would we used to sit and we would talk for hours. Lately, I kind of feel like we don't even communicate. Look, even now, I'm trying to reach out and you withdraw. You know, I can't fix it if I don't know what's broken. Should we say something? I'm giving up on you. No, you know what the really sad part is? The sad part is I have these conversations with Godzilla when nobody else is even here. There's no way that's comfortable. You can't lay your head in the concrete all day and tell me it's comfortable. Get out of the way. It's not bad. It doesn't look comfortable, but it's not bad. Now again, they don't like me. They obviously don't really dislike me. It's a lot like my parents' house around Christmas time. Everybody just tolerates me because they feel obligated. Now I do have a certain rotation system I use to try to make sure each gator only does one show throughout the day. It's actually Jigsaw's show, but Jigsaw's stuffed in the corner, and he's behind Hector the Bone Collector. So after Jigsaw's zoo, since he's sitting right here, I'm going to use him real quick. That way between shows I can move him out of there. Come on, Zeus. Now listen, I'm going to be honest, okay? This gator's been dead for 2 weeks. Hey, until he starts to stink, I'm going to keep using him. Playing dead is Zeus's best trick. This is how we plant flowers down here. You notice the nice rose he makes. I'm thinking of putting some begonias in here. That's a joke. You can't plant begonias in sand. Everybody knows that.